What's going on, everybody? Today I'm gonna be changing the oil and the fuel filter on my 2000 Ford Explorer 5-liter V8. Now, pretty basic stuff, but I figured I'd make a video for those. I just want a little guidance and, you know, for beginners and whatnot. But it's pretty simple. You need your oil fuel funnel, and for the drain plug you're gonna need a 16 millimeter. I use a 1/2 inch ratchet. You probably use a 3/8. And then it takes 5 quarts if I remember right, but I always have an extra one just in case between oil changes I have to, you know, put a little extra. I usually put the full 5 quarts and a little bit in there. You don't want to overfill it, but it's good to have an extra one. Oil filter, I use a K&N. I was using a Royal Purple, but I'm using the K&N because it's easier to get, and has the wrench off thing right here. It makes it easy to get to. And on the fuel filter, pretty simple.
I'll let it drain. I'll go ahead and get the fuel filter. So go ahead and get started.
All right. For those of you that don't know, this is the oil pan right here. I have a magnet under here as well. It's right in front of the bell housing on the transmission. You use your 16 mil. Okay. Here's your fuel filter right here. As you can see, it's not too far behind the front driver's side tire. Along the side of the frame, there's a couple of these little bracket pieces that you have to get off. I think they're part of the fuel line thing though. So, but this part right here, you're probably gonna have to meander off. And by the way, you may want to wear gloves when you do this, and you might want to relieve the pressure. I never have needed to, but it's not a bad idea to do. I didn't do it in this case, but try to get it out from this. Okay, now when you do that, it gives you a little bit more room to work with. Okay, let's see. Trying to remember, because this is a little different than it is on my Mustang, these clips. I think you might have to get this little piece off. I can't remember, to be honest. Okay. Alright, I got it off. I just needed to use the screwdriver to get this off of the little clip thing, and then I could pry it off. It was just kind of tough to do under here with holding the camera, so I did it off camera. But once you get that off, now you can fit your fill line tool. So okay guys, I actually made an error. It's not the yellow one, that was a 3/8, it's actually a 5/16. My mistake, because the old tool I used to use was yellow. I figured it was the same size. So, let's get back under here. No wonder why it wasn't getting in there. Alright. There we go. So if you have one of these tools, it's probably going to be the red 5/16. This ain't easy when you're holding the camera. There we go. Probably have to do it on the front side first. Get it in there. God damn it. Alright guys, I'm gonna pause it. You got to know the most basic process. I need 2 hands to do this, so I'll get back to you once I get this off. Okay guys, I finally got it off. It was kind of a pain in the ass because my arm was bumping against the lower rocker panel and whatnot, but what you're gonna do is with the new one, where it shows flow like this, the arrow pointing is pointing forward, as in towards the engine. So what you want is this side on the front and this side on the fuel pump side, the back. And alright guys, I can go ahead and show you how to put this thing back in, since it's a lot easier than taking it out. Okay. Okay, just make sure you have the arrow pointing forward, and all it's gonna do is pop. It should pop right back in. Hang on. I'll get both sides. Where's the front? But it should snap back in, so you want to make sure you hear the snap. I haven't got it on the back, but it should snap and lock. It's not in there yet. Back. Okay, well I'm gonna go ahead and pause it so I can use 2 hands again, but you get the basic idea. Just make sure it passes this lip and you hear the snap, and then you might want to tug on it, and then after that you're gonna put your little clips back in, secure it, and then put it back on the little bracket. Alright, once you get everything back in, it should look just like that. This is back in. That is how you do a fuel filter change on a 5.0 V8 Ford Explorer. Alright guys, once you get it to where it's just dripping like that, just take a little shop towel, kind of clean it off a little bit. Then all you do is put it on, hand thread the drain plug back in. Okay, and then you just ratchet it. It doesn't take a lot. As soon as you start really feeling any resistance, that's good. Alright, now I should be able to spin it by hand. If not, I'm gonna have to get a oil filter wrench. No big deal. There we go. That's how you want it too. So when you thread it back on, you don't need to put a death grip on it. You should be able to get it off by hand. I probably will not use Royal Purple filters on this again. The way I change my oil, not necessary. Although they're not bad filters, but I probably won't spend the money for shipping them and buying them. K&N is close enough. Okay, go ahead and get this off. You want to lube up the O-ring with a little bit of your fresh oil. On as straight as possible, which is pretty much impossible. See, this is why I don't fill it up that much, because the oil starts to spill off. But try to get it lined up. This is so difficult recording. But you're gonna get it lined up and you're gonna screw it back on. Once you get it there, start threading it back on. Do it by hand. You can use a 1-inch wrench on it, but that's mainly for getting it off. Here's the squirrel. Oh no, this is a messier oil change than normal, mainly because when you use one hand, it's kind of hard to get it perfect. But yeah, you'll just keep doing that. Once you start feeling a little bit of resistance, you don't want it super tight. Use my bare hand, I'm not going to get it super duper tight, so. One of the last and easiest steps is filling your oil. So, alright guys, getting ready to crank her up. Go ahead and prime the fuel pump. Listen and make sure, since we changed it, there's no leaks, which I don't hear. And go ahead and crank her up. Oh yeah. Always want to make sure you got fuel pressure. Everything's great. Probably only hesitated because of the air and the fuel line, so. That's it. That's how you do it. Now I gotta clean up this mess. Peace out.